Hey guys, what's up? It's munclesonkey and welcome to my new, improved, and updated magic guide. So, since this is a very long video, I have left some links on the screen for you here if you want to just check out the gear setup first before we get started. Click on the first one, and then I have links to the low level, the medium level, and the high level training. So, if you don't want to watch the entire video and see all the methods, just go to one of those links and it'll take you exactly where you need to go. So we are going to start out with the gear setup. From level 1 to 30, I would recommend just to use an air staff, even though you can upgrade your weapons such as using like a spider wand and orb and stuff like that are slightly better than the air staff. It's really not going to change your damage very much, and you're just going to be blowing through these levels anyway. They will hardly take any time, so I'd recommend just to stick with an air staff to make it easier on yourself so you don't have to go to the GE and consistently buy new weapons and armor, all that. And also, since you'll just be killing very low level monsters to start out with, you really won't need any armor, so it's gonna be completely fine if you go naked. You can bring a few pieces of food with you if you want, but you really won't be taking much damage. And then from level 30 to 50, you want to get yourself an air battle staff off the GE, which does the exact same thing as an air staff. It just has higher accuracy, and also it provides free air runes, which saves money. That's another reason to be using these staffs over wands and orbs. And then from level 30 to 50, you can also wear a mystic robe, since the extra defense will come in handy here, since you will be fighting higher level monsters. Then from 50 to 60, you want to be using dual-wield bat wand and the bat book, and also wear some bat robes, which are really cool and purple, so I'm sure many of you will be into that. And then you just want to stick with those until 60, and then at 60 you want to continue wearing the bat orb, but continue wearing the bat robes, but this time switch over to the Grifolic wand and the Grifolic orb, and these will just increase your accuracy a little bit, which will make it a lot easier to hit monsters, and also just increase your damage because of that as well. And then once you get into the higher levels, from level 75 to 80, you want to be using a Staff of Light, or a Polypore Staff, or an Abyssal Wand and Orb. The damage difference between all of these isn't huge. I would recommend the Staff of Light or the Polypore Staff since they're much cheaper, and you will be going for the Chaotic Staff as soon as you get 80 anyway. And then for the armor, from actually level 75 to 99, you're going to be wearing either Ganodermic armor or subjugation robes. I did not include armor like Virtus just because it's quite expensive to repair, and I would not recommend it just for training. You want to be using more expensive degradable armor for bossing, but when you're just training on monsters and the extra damage from the armor, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. I'd recommend just to stick with subjugation. And then finally, from level 80 to 99 magic, you're going to be using the Chaotic Staff, which costs 200,000 Dungeoneering tokens, or the Virtus Wand and Book, which prices really vary, but right around there are about 120 mil for the set. But just get whatever of those two options that you like the best, and that's what you'll be training on from level 1 all the way until, well, from level 80 all the way until level 99. So when you're first starting out magic, the best place to train is actually goblins. Not a whole lot of people know this, but I did test out both cows, goblins, and men, some of the most common training methods when you're first just starting out magic, and I found goblins to actually be surprisingly the fastest XP per hour. So my favorite place to kill them is just go to Lumbridge, and you want to run straight to the east across the river, and there will be a whole huge encampment of goblins here. Now, you can just be using a Staff of Air. You don't need any armor since the goblins will do hardly any damage to you, and just start off with Air Strike and just go away at the goblins all the way from level 1 to 30, although I do have an alternative method to show you at level 20 if you get bored, if you want to do something else. But when you first start out magic, this is the best place to start out, and this is where I would recommend sticking with for the first 30 levels. However, if you get bored with goblins at level 20, you can move over to skeletons and the Lumbridge Catacombs. I would recommend to do these from level 20 to 40. Also, when you're level 20, you will unlock the next air spell, which is Air Bolt. And of course, you just want to be sticking with your Staff of Air, and the reason for this is you can go to the GE to buy slightly better weapons, but the thing is, you'll be leveling your magic so much anyway, and the damage isn't that big of a difference when it comes to between the Staff of Air or like a level 10 weapon like the Spider Silk Wanded Orb, that I'd recommend just sticking with the Staff of Air, and also you get unlimited free air runes from it, so that saves you a little bit of money, and that's really what I'd recommend to do. So you do need to complete the Blood Pact quest to access the Lumbridge Catacombs. However, it is worth it. It's slightly faster XP than the goblins, and also they do have a few drops as well if you'd like to pick those up, especially if you're really low level and you have hardly any starting cash and you just need a really good way to start off in the game. So the Blood Pact quest only takes about 5 minutes. It's really not a big deal, and once you're done, you have access to all the monsters in the catacombs. There are some other monsters that you can train on down here, and you can experiment a little bit if you'd like. However, for my testing, the skeletons and lumberjack catacombs are the best to train at this level. So just stick here to level 40. About 29-ish K XP per hour is what it will max at with your air staff and air bolt. Again, you don't really need any armor here. You can bring a few pieces of food if you're really low defense level, but otherwise, for the most part, you won't be getting hit. You can also just use stuns, such as the ability Impact and the ability Asphyxiate, to keep monsters away from you so that they can't do any damage against you, and that can really help you survive if you're struggling. This next method is Ice Warriors, so the easiest way to access these at a low level, since I'm guessing you won't have access to fairy rings quite yet, is just teleport to the support Serum Lodestone and run straight south just following my path. So you will be doing these from level 40 to 50. Just keep in mind these monsters do actually do a bit of damage against you, but the increased XP rates that you're getting are by far worth it. So just remember to buy that Mystic armor that I suggested in the start of the video, because that's the only armor that you can wear at about level 30 defense or so, and you want to stick with that until level 50, because this will be coming in handy since you'll be fighting higher level monsters that will actually damage you a bit. Also remember to bring some food. I have sweet corn shown in the video, which can be a good, really cheap food that you can use if you'd like, or you can also bring food such as lobsters, which is probably a really good option since they heal a decent amount, more than sweet corn I believe, and they also are very cheap, only about 90 to 100 GP each or so. So Ice Warriors are quite a bit faster than goblins or skeletons in Lumberjack Catacomb. They will give you about 51k XP per hour. Just remember to be now wearing a air battle staff instead of the staff of air, and also bring some fire runes along with you, since these monsters are a bit of a higher level. You might experience a few problems with accuracy, so you want to make sure that you're using better weapons so that you'll be able to hit them better. Also just remember to be using those fire spells instead of the air spells, since you were starting out with air spells to begin with. The air battle staff will give you unlimited air runes, but you will have to provide your own fire runes, or of course if you'd like you can wear a fire battle staff and bring air runes. It doesn't really matter. So the Ice Warriors are going to be quite a bit faster. You will level up a lot more, and you'll get some more drops, more charms, more herbs, stuff like that can really help add to your beginning of summoning. Ice Warriors and Ice Giants have really good drop rates of gold charms, one of the best in the game actually. Another monster that has a really good drop rate of gold charms is ghouls, so you can kill these from level 40 to 60. I'm showing you the method to get them just from the Canifis Lodestone, or if you have unlocked Rings of Slaying, although I doubt you have at this level, but if you have, you can teleport straight to the Mauritania Slayer Tower, and that'll put you right by some ghouls as well. But if not, just go from the Canifis Lodestone and follow the path that I'm showing you guys here. So I would recommend not to start these until level 40, as they are higher level than the Ice Warriors, and they also do more damage than the Ice Warriors, although their rewards are better because they give a lot more XP than the Ice Warriors. So just do these from level 40 to 60, just continuing to use your air battle staff, and as soon as you reach level 50, you can switch over to starting to use a bat, wand, and orb, which is going to be even more damage. So those are the weapons that you want to be looking forward to unlocking. So these ghouls are about 69-70k XP per hour. The only disadvantage with them is they don't really have any drops. They do drop a lot of gold charms, but they don't have any normal drops. All they drop will be bones, and they also have a chance of dropping like ancient effigies and clue scrolls and stuff like that. But for the most part, you won't really be making any money from killing these. So just remember to fill up your inventory with food. Ghouls really don't have any good drops, as I said earlier, so it's not that big of a deal. You can just fill it up with food since you won't be picking up anything anyway besides, I suppose, the charms. So from another method that you can train on from level 40 to 60 is Ankus in the Stronghold of Security. These have a very similar XP rate to the ghouls. There's both right around 70k XP per hour. The good thing with the Ankus though is they have better drops. They do drop blood runes, death runes, some noted pure essence, and also some herbs and stuff like that. So you can make a little bit of money by killing these. They're also a pretty common Slayer assignment if you're training your Slayer from Vanica. So this can be a place that you can train if you prefer. However, if you'd rather do the ghouls, that's fine. That's why I'm showing more than one method, so you guys can choose which one you would like to do. So these are a little bit annoying to travel to. The fastest way to get to them is just teleport to the Edgeville Lodestone and then run straight south to the Barbarian Village, and they are on the lowest floor of the Stronghold of Security. If you have never explored the Stronghold of Security before, you will have to go through the maze, going through all the doors, finding your way to the end. It's not that complicated, so I'm sure you guys can manage it, and you will come across chests that will give you a small amount of GP. However, if you've already done this, or after the first time you've done this, you can just follow the route which I'm following, which is goes to the portal that'll teleport you straight to the chest room, and then you just climb down the ladder and that will put you on the next level, and it's very, very easy to travel this way. So there is one room in the entire Stronghold of Security which has only Ankus in it, because a lot of the rooms have Ankus in them, but they also have ghosts and skeletons and such. You don't want to be killing those, you just want to be killing the Ankus. So you want to travel to the far northeastern room of the lowest level of the Stronghold of Security. Another thing is, one thing that I did not show on this video, but one thing that you definitely want to be doing, is finding yourself a really high spawn rate world. So I'd recommend playing on World 2 or something like that, since the Ankus do have fairly low spawns, and you do not want to be waiting around for the Ankus to pop up alive again after you've already killed them, as waiting for spawns is of course XP based, as we all know, and no one wants to be doing that. So you can train with these Ankus or the ghouls all the way from 40 to 60, it's really your preference, or I have an additional couple methods for you to train at 50 if you would like, that are slightly faster. However, if you'd like these training methods for whatever reason, you can stick with them if you would prefer. It's all up to you. So this next monster I'm showing you is actually the Dagenhai monks. Not a whole lot of people know about these, but there are monsters in RS that are a very, very high combat level. These guys are level 178, yet they only hit ones against you, so they can't really hurt you. However, you do not want to make the mistake that I'm making in this video and go in there with no armor and no food. You definitely want some armor and food, so make sure you're wearing that Batwing armor and also having an inventory full of lobsters. Now, the good thing about Dagenhai monks is even though they're level 178, they have very, very low defense, and also they give a very good amount of XP per kill. That's why the XP rate is so high at 174k XP per hour, and also their life points are fairly low. So the only thing that will damage you here is the Zamorakian warriors, but they can hit pretty hard, unlike the Dagenhai monks, so that's why you need to make sure that you have the food and armor, and with Batwing armor and some lobsters, you should be able to stay here for quite a long time, and just run around and kill the Dagenhai monks as fast as you possibly can, and this is by far the fastest way to train at your level. The only bad thing about them is they're kind of annoying because you have to be running around all the time and they die so fast, and also their spawn rates aren't great, so you definitely want to be on World 2 or something like that, because you don't want to be standing around waiting for the Dagenhai monks to spawn. I guess you can kill those annoying Zamorak warriors while you're waiting, but it's all up to you. So I decided to include another method, and this method actually can be AFK, but it is a little bit risky. I guess the Dagenhai monks are risky too, since you have to run through the wilderness, but the odds of you getting BK'd are so minimal that I don't think it's that big of a problem. So this method is killing Earth Warriors. Now you can kill them in the Chaos Tunnels as well, but there aren't a whole lot of spawns, so this place is better to kill them. However, it is in the wilderness, so you will be spending your time in the wilderness, so you just want to look out for that a little. Be cautious, make sure you have food with you. You have freedom on your action bar in case a PKer comes along and stuns you, and you also have a tell tab in your inventory, and as long as you have those things and you are paying attention, you will not die. But also just remember that you're only bringing Batwing and a Batwand and book with you, so if you die, also don't bring too many runes with you. Don't get me wrong, the odds of you dying here are actually very, very low, but it's never a bad thing to be safe. So how you access the Earth Warriors is you just go to Edgeville Dungeon, follow the path that I am taking, and run here and swing across these monkey bars here, which is actually a decent way to train agility at low levels too, if you're interested in that. But anyway, you can just kill the Earth Warriors, and as I mentioned earlier, they actually are AFK if you would like. These guys are aggressive no matter what your combat level is, so what you can do is you can just set your combat mode on Revolution instead of full manual, or instead of momentum, whatever it was on before, and you can just stand in the middle of this northern area, and all the Earth Warriors will attack you, and you can do that if you'd like. Just make sure if you do AFK here, these Earth Warriors can hit kind of hard if you're a lower level, so you want to make sure you're eating up on that food and you don't die, and also you want to just be paying attention, because it's always a good thing to pay attention if it avoids death. Of course, it is faster if you don't AFK here, but it is completely your preference if you'd like to just relax, or if you'd like to get as much experience per hour. Of course, I'm always the more experience per hour person, but there are people who are not like that, and I realize that. So this next method, you do require a quest to do this, and it requires the Family Crest quest, and it's also pretty darn expensive. It's about 6 GP or XP per XP or something like that at the current prices of nature runes and gold ore. So you might be wondering, why would I do this if it's only 130k XP per hour and the Dagenhai monks are faster? Well, in addition to getting 130k magic XP per hour for superheating gold ore, as you can see, you just put the superheat action on your action bar and you just spam it and spam the gold ore, but you also get 135k smithing XP per hour, and smithing is a very expensive skill to train, so this can be a kind of cheaper way to train it, and you also get some magic XP while you're doing it. So if you need to train both both skills, this can be a really good way to train both. Just something to keep in mind if you ever need to train up your smithing skill for a quest or something like that. So this next method I'm showing is the famous Abyss. Although I'm sure everyone and their brother knows about this method and probably knows how to do it already, I'd figured I'd just put this in the video because I want this to be a comprehensive guide with pretty much everything in it. So for the Abyss, you pretty much just want what I'm showing in my inventory, some stat boosting potions, so either super magic potions, extreme magic potions, or super Zamorak brew potions. And you also want to make sure that you are on the ancient magic spellbook, so you do have to complete Desert Treasure to do this method. But it can be well worth it because it's very AFK. It's not the fastest XP per hour, so this is not something I would ever do personally, and I would never recommend anyone to do this. But if you are really, really into AFKing, then this could be a pretty good method for you to do. So I did test this out with level 70 weapons, the Wand of Treachery, and the RM's book, so that's why the XP rate is pretty low. However, if you're using better weapons such as Dual Abyssal or so, the XP will be quite faster. So this next method is actually the second fastest magic training method in the game, and definitely one of the best. So you do need 75 magic to start this out, and the reason for that is water fiends are not weak to magic, they're actually weak to range, but you can still kill them with magic fairly effectively, especially if you're on a Slayer task and you have the Slayer helmet bonus. These are assigned from Kuradel and such, so if you do get these for a Slayer task, make sure you rejoice because they're very, very good XP. But you need at least the Staff of Light, because if you use anything less than that against Water Fiends, you will be experiencing some accuracy problems. So make sure you have at least a Staff of Light or Polypore. I did my test with the Chaotic Staff, which of course is going to be faster XP per hour than the Staff of Light or Polypore, so just keep that in mind. But this is a level 75 all the way to 99 method, so odds are you probably will be using better weapons than the Staff of Light pretty soon. So 420k XP per hour, very, very good. It's even possible to be faster if you are on Slayer task or if you are using Virtus Wand and Book or better weapons or something like that. So this next method is actually a method that can be fully AFK, and I do have a guide on that. It will be down in the description, as well as a link being on screen somewhere. So this method is called Grifolapines. They do have pretty high requirements because you do need 86 Slayer to kill these. However, I think it's well worth it because like the Abyss, these are very AFK. Unlike the Abyss, you do not lose money by training here, and it's also faster XP per hour than the Abyss, little known fact. So if you would like to save money by not blowing mills training your magic on the Abyss, but also AFK, this can be a great place to go. So make sure you check the guide out if you have 86 Slayer and you're interested in AFK and some magic. These can be up to about 360k XP per hour. Of course, that is not while AFK, and if you are using Revolution to kill them, it will be a little bit slower than that, but not much slower. It'll still be very, very good XP. So the only bad thing about these is they do hit kind of hard, so you make sure that you either have Soul Split or the Vampirism Aura, and make sure you bring some food along with you if you do decide to AFK them. However, the rewards are well worth it just because you can get like effigies. These things do have a fairly high drop rate from effigies, and you can make a little bit of money off of them because the Grifolapine flakes that they drop are worth a fair amount. So you just want to keep that in mind, and Grifolapines, again, 86 Slayer required. So this next monster here is automatons. Now you do need the World Waked quest to kill these, so they do have fairly high requirements. And also, as you might notice, the XP is not the best compared to monsters like Grifolapines and Water Fiends at only 216k XP per hour, so they're not the fastest training. So you might be wondering, why do I kill these? But the thing is, they're actually very, very easy to kill, kind of relaxing. You won't take much damage here, but you do want to make sure you have Soul Split or some food with you just in case. However, you do have a chance to get the gloves the static gloves from these, which are worth about 15 mil or so. It does depend on GE prices, so you can make quite a bit of money. You can also get Crestbot drops from these, and they also drop a lot of notable items like herbs and seeds and stuff like that, which add up to about $1 million an hour if you pick them all up. So they can be some pretty darn good money, so that's one reason to kill these. I also just find them really enjoyable, although I always use melee here because there are ones that are weak to melee and range as well as the ones weak to mage. The ones weak to mage are the ones in the middle. They're called the Automaton Guardians, so you make sure that those are the ones that you want to be fighting, and they are weak to fire, so make sure you're using fire spells instead of the different ones. So this next method here, you do require the Lunar Diplomacy quest to do, and it is String Jewelry. Now, I do not recommend training this. I don't recommend training your magic through the Lunar Spellbook at all because it is very, very expensive for the most part. String jewelry isn't the most pricey. It's about maybe 50 mil from 80 to 99 or 40 mil or something like that. It's not terribly pricey, but the thing is, even though it's AFK, it's not nearly as fast as training your methods through combat, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to either AFK at a bank where you can AFK at Grifolapines and actually make money, and it'll be still like twice as fast XP per this as this is. But for those of you that would like to try out some non-combat ways of training magic, string jewelry is one way to do it. So you just want to buy unstrung gold amulets off of the GE and make sure you're wielding a mud battle staff and have astral runes in your inventory, and then one click and you get to AFK for like a minute and a half. So it is pretty relaxing. It's actually a very enjoyable way to train. It's just not the fastest XP. And this other method here is plank make, which is about 165k XP per hour, so it's very similar XP. Now, plank make at sometimes can be profitable. It just depends on the GE prices. I will have a link down in the description if you want to check that out to the Runescape wiki, and it'll tell you if at the current moment if plank make is profitable or not. At the moment it is not profitable, but GE prices change all the time, so sometimes it's profitable, sometimes it's not, sometimes you break even. It really just depends. But plank make is not as AFK because you have to individually click on each log, so that's a bit annoying, but of course you can just put the plank make icon on your action bar, so it's not the worst thing in the world. You just press whatever the arrow key on your action bar is and then click on the log and then you make it. I'm just showing mahogany logs in this video, but you can also make oak planks or teak planks. That works with all kinds of planks, so that's pretty handy. Again, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that I'm not recommending to do things that I put in a guide. I just wanted to put everything in this guide, but it's much better to train your magic through combat. However, I do realize that there's people out there that would rather just bank stand while they train. So this next method is, in my opinion, one of the top 3 methods to train your magic, along with water fiends and the final method that I will be showing you. But this is Ganodermic Beasts, and I put level 90 to 99. Even though it doesn't require a magic level to kill them, you do need 95 Slayer to kill these things, so it has a very high Slayer requirement. But oh boy, are these worth it. These are actually amazing money. By my test, they're about 4.5 to 5 mil an hour, killing them full speed, of course, which I'll be showing you how to do in the little example here, and also 358k XP per hour. That is magic plus hit points, of course. So they're very, very fast experience per hour, and you can make absolute bank. These are actually better money than anything else on this guide, of course, depending on your luck with drops. If you're bossing with magic, if you get really lucky, that'll be better money than Ganodermics. But these are kind of like a magic version of QBD. They're very, very consistent money, good XP per hour, and good money per hour. And they'll always be good money per hour because their drops are very consistent. Lots of seeds for trees and farming, as well as lots of Ganondormic flakes. And these also have one of the highest drop rates of rare drop table items in the game. So you can definitely expect to get at least one decent rare drop table item, either each 1 or 2 hours. So just keep in mind, even on top of all the seeds and Ganondormic flakes, you'll also be getting some drops off of the rare drop table as well, which can really help you out a lot. So this is how you kill them. You just want to go to the far southwestern corner, and you just want to spawn camp. There's 3 spawns like right next to each other here, so you just want to be making sure that you turn on sunshine and you just kill these things as fast as possible. And it's really quite fast experience per hour, as long as you're doing it properly, and just kill a few and then run around and pick up drops after a few of them are dead. But just make sure you have all 3 of those Ganodermics killed, so they're all spawning right next to each other, and then you can kill at least 2 of them. They have a very, very fast spawn rate as well, so you shouldn't have to worry about that too much. But anyway, this is definitely one of my favorite methods of training magic, one that I would definitely recommend if you have the Slayer level for it. So, of course, last but not least is the Glacors, the fastest way of training magic in the game. They are up to 700 or even 800k XP per hour, but of course that is with seismics and absolute max mage gear and a lot of previous knowledge of how to kill Glacors. So don't expect it to be quite that fast when you first start out, and also depending on your luck, these things can be anywhere between 3 mil to 7 mil per hour. 3 mil is if you're really, really unlucky, 7 mil per hour is if you're pretty darn lucky. But anyway, the Glacors are the fastest way of training magic in the game, and they also have a very high drop rate of charms, so one of the best charm collecting methods in the game. So just click on the annotation there, and that'll take you to my full Glacors guide. A little too complicated to explain how to kill in this guide. But anyway, that's about going to do it for the magic guide. I really hope you all enjoyed. I really hope this helped some of you out. Leave any feedback in the description or in the comments what I did well, what I can improve on, or other guides that you guys would like to see. So thank you for watching, and farewell.